there are two statements by her about happiness that you could take as defining. Let me give you the one that's not a formal definition first. But I often package these together, and I noticed Gina Gorlin also did on her slides in her talk on using reason to cultivate passion the other day, which is very good. One of them is a state of non-contradictory joy. I don't think that one's the formal definition, but I think it's a very clarifying formulation. And the other one is, I don't know if I can get it word for word right from memory, but it's the state of consciousness that proceeds from the achievement of your values. So it's a state of consciousness, a feeling, an emotion, a way that it is inside that is caused by the achievement of values. And what state is it that's produced or achieved through the achievement of values? Well, a state of non-contradictory joy. So that's how those go together. If anyone wants, I can talk about some technical things about definition and Aristotle and how those two formulas, I think, are related. But just take those elements of it. The cause is achievement of values, and what the experiential state that comes about by that cause is a feeling, an emotion, an experience of joy, yes, but non-contradictory joy. And what's meant by non-contradictory joy is it is something you can experience in a moment, but it's something that you experience in a moment that includes in it cognizance of the rest of your life, and that nothing is pulling against or detracting from. As opposed to what? Well, I think two things we want to oppose that understanding of happiness to. One is the English use of happy, which I don't think is quite the normal English use of it, but nevertheless, where you can be happy about anything transiently. Like, right now, I'm happy that the view is nice outside, but I'm unhappy that I got some really terrible news, and it's all at the same time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with talking that way, but it's not what's meant by happy. Or, I've just taken this heroin, and I feel no pain, and I'm happy about that, but also I know, although it's dimmed by the heroin, I've never taken heroin, but I understand this is what happens, that all kinds of other bad things are going on in my life, and that would not be a non-contradictory joy, right? It would just be a kind of pleasant feeling. Happiness isn't any pleasant feeling, it's this kind of profound pleasant feeling, joy, that's non-contradictory. And that's the result of achievement. And the other thing I want to differentiate it from, this is more for philosophy students than for other people, is the way that it's used in Greek philosophy as a translation, in English translations of Greek philosophy, as a translation of Aristotle's word eudaimonia, where it doesn't refer to an emotional state at all, but just like the feature of your life, that your life is going well, which is sometimes translated as flourishing. And that's a great feature of your life, and we should aim at it. But it's not an emotion, it's not a result of achievement, it's the fact that you are achieving. So those are two things I distinguish it from that you see both in people writing about happiness.
Good. Could you give a brief comment on what non-objectivists or people who aren't familiar with objectivism, where they go wrong in thinking about this issue?
Well, there are different ways. So there's one way is by thinking of, there are different theories of happiness, or different theories of well-being, what it is that, and so the ones that focus on happiness, there are different ones. So one common one is the utilitarian view, which treats happiness as kind of pleasure minus pain. And it's as though you can quantify your pleasure over a period of time, and then you can quantify all your pain over a period of time, and you just do some math, and you get, I was at like a 7.8 pleasure over the course of last night, or whatever. And happiness just names that quantity, and you could have more or less of it. That's a different view. I don't think it's true that you can do those kinds of quantifications. I don't think there is such a thing as happiness understood in that way. Then the other area where people might go right or wrong is there's a whole field of happiness research, which has all kinds of more complex than pleasure minus pain ways of tracking and assessing happiness over time in psychology. And I don't know how they're doing. I don't think they have quite the objectivist view of it. And I think there are disagreements within that field over just how to measure it, and it's a kind of nascent field. So I don't want to say sort of I think they're doing a bad job. I'm not sure, and I think probably some are doing better than others. But that's something to keep an eye on and think critically about if you read studies about, you know, people are happiest in this country or something as measured by this or that metric.